For 3 days, stakeholders in the education sector from within and outside of Osun State, non-governmental organizations and politicians gathered in Osogbo, the state capital, to deliberate on ways to overhaul the education sector in the state. Understanding the need for reforms in a sector that is beset with multiple challenges, Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke approved the Osun Education Summit, which held from the 22nd to 24th of August 2023. In the course of the 3 days, various stakeholders addressed issues ranging from policy reforms, monitoring and evaluation, staff welfare, training and retraining of teachers, inclusion of indigenous language, education of people with special needs, among others. Rhoda Amotosho, who is the president of the Teens Awareness Initiative, an NGO, urged the Osun State government to ensure policy reforms and leverage on partnerships with non-profit organizations.
Our state needs to leverage on these opportunities by partnering with NGOs to assess such opportunities from global bodies like the UN, like World Bank and various organizations. And also, they need to leverage on database. We need database. If you are saying that, okay, we have poor quality of education, do we have data to back it up? How up to date are our database in terms of quality education? So we need consistent research, consistent assessment, consistent database in terms of our education quality. And lastly, policy reform.
Ahead of the summit, both the Ministry of Education and the Osun Education Summit Committee highlighted issues the conference must address. Chairman of the Summit Committee, Professor Oyesoji Aremu, and the Special Advisor to the Governor on Education, Teniola Lanleyin, ascertained the expectations were met.
We're going to put everything together so to further validate or give a kind of empirical nods on what our reports will be. So my takeaway is that whatever the reports will be something that is coming from stakeholders.
We have to do our best to implement the recommendations, implementing all the recommendations as much as we can, and also make sure the things we're doing are realistic, things that will actually work for the people of Osun State. The educators, the students, administrators, everyone involved. We have to really make sure that whatever the recommendations are, they are realistic and can actually make a difference.
On the way forward, following the 3-day deliberations, the Commissioner for Education, Dipo Eluwole, and the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, Muitala Jimo, disclosed that the recommendations from the summit would be compiled and forwarded to Governor Adeleke for further action. The Education Commissioner also revealed that his first line of action would be to ensure discipline in the education sector, followed by training of teachers and provision of adequate educational materials.
We will make sure that we take discipline as the bedrock of everything we want to do. In the ministry, we are going to discipline ourselves. As a government, we are going to discipline ourselves. The teacher will discipline themselves. Then, along the line, we are going to provide materials for the government to move. I mean the ministry, for the inspection of the schools, and the teachers that are going to work are going to be trained. Then materials are going to be given to them adequately. So therefore, to start, there will be no problem.
We go into reporting session. And after reporting session, after we have completed the report, then we will now present that report to Mr. Governor for implementation.
At the summit, Deputy Minority Leader of the Senate, Senator Larry Oyewumi, assured that members of the legislature from Osun State, both at the national and state levels, will support the efforts of Governor Adeleke to reposition the education sector. He stated that there is the political will to do the right thing for the benefit of Osun citizens.
We should take this, the outcome of this project should be given seriousness in the South. There must be the will from the governor and all resources needed to be pumped into it. All of us have met. Those of us at the National Assembly, the House of Assembly member, the governor, we have met. I wanted to partner with the governor on this education to make sure that at least within the next 2 years, Osun State must come to its rightful place in Nigeria. We are a leader in education here. All our leaders, this has never happened to us. How can Osun be becoming 30, 31st, 36 in WAEC? It's unheard of. And we are going to change the narrative immediately by the grace of God. We'll give it all necessary attention it deserves. We are going to encourage our teachers. We are going to sensitize the parents, the communities, through the traditional rulers, through the market women. Everybody will be sensitized on the need to support our children in school. We are going to make sure the facilities in school, the school environment will be made conducive, and the teachers will be encouraged to make sure that all hands will be on deck.
Now that the Osun Education Summit is over, citizens, participants, and stakeholders will be focused on what happens next, most especially with the thorough implementation of the recommendations. Olalekun Akindoju, Western Spring Television News.